All right, yeah, it looks like we're live. Um, this is more of a newer thing I want to try doing. It's going to be a podcast that I want to try to do once a month, and it's going to be it'll be several topics covered during the month and what's been going on, and just things to talk about. And then if you're in the Google, uh, or not Google, but if you're on the YouTube page, there's a chat section, and you could talk to me during the chats. So go ahead and try to talk to me through there, and I'll answer your questions as long as they're appropriate and not crazy. And if I know the answer, I'll definitely respond to you. If I don't know anything about the topic, I just won't mention anything about it. But first thing I want to talk to you about, last Saturday, I went to my first cowboy action shooting match, or SAS, SASS. And if you ever want to check them out, go to their website at sassnet. That's SASSNET.com. And I went to a local club here in my area. And I went as a spectator. I don't have all the gear, and I only have really one gun that would qualify, which is my lever gun. The Ruger Blackhawk would qualify too, but I just think that's just way too big. I'd rather get like the Ruger Vaquero or something a little bit smaller, maybe the 4 3/4 inch barrel. But anyway, I went to this match, and these guys. I tell you, these guys are awesome. You know, they're just real friendly people. They're more than happy to see newcomers, and they want to see new members join the sport. And what happened was, when I was there, I was really out of place. You know, I was wearing my Dickies that are a khaki color, and I was wearing like a plaid shirt, but it wasn't a long sleeve shirt, so it didn't really matter anyway. I was wearing the wrong attire, and then I was wearing a baseball style cap, so I was really out of place. But they understand, you know, when you're brand new and you're there to check it out, they don't expect you to come out in full blown attire. And if you're interested in doing the cowboy action shooting, what I would suggest is try to find a local group. I mean, if there was not a local group, I wouldn't even bother, because I'm not going to travel all over the state, go try to find a group to go shoot with. I mean, I'm not going to drive 3 4 hours to go with a group, but this group is about a 40-minute drive from where I'm at, and they meet up twice a month, and just really friendly people. As soon as I got there, I didn't know what to expect. I had kind of an idea going in. I was watching some videos and trying to figure out the rules and the dress code. And so when I got there, everybody was kind of repeating what I already kind of knew. But what happened was, one of the guys that he competes in Arizona, as in the wintertime. He's like one of those snowbirds. So in the wintertime, he goes south and competes in Arizona in the winter. He threw me into work. I mean, these guys, they have no problem putting you straight to work. And what they did was they put me in as a spotter, like right off the bat. And the guy was like, "Well, that's how you learn. Get you in there, get you learning." And when you're a spotter, what you do is you're counting the hits and misses, and you got to pay attention, because there's a certain amount of rounds they have to shoot, and sometimes it's 10, sometimes it could be 8, sometimes it could be 4 or 6. So you got to really pay attention to how many rounds they use, and if they miss. And they told me, if it's a hit, it counts as a hit. If you think it's a miss, it's still a hit. If they miss, you got to be 100% without a doubt, knowing that it's a miss. And then there's a technicality or a technical penalty, where you have to shoot targets in a certain manner. Like they might want you to go from left to right, or maybe go left, right, center. And if they shoot out of order, then it's a technicality. Well, you're only allowed one technical on the run. So if you mess up 2 or 3 times out of order, then it only counts as one, and it's a 10-second penalty. And then each miss is a 5-second penalty. And it consists of a lever action rifle, and then they have pistols, which have to be single action revolvers, and you have to have 2 of them. And then there's a shotgun, and there's all requirements for each firearm, and that's all on their website. But so right off the bat, you have to have 4 firearms to do this. But if you don't have all the guns and you still want to go out, definitely just go out and check it out. Usually they'll have people there that let you loan their guns to you and things like that. But yeah, a lot of the guns are souped up, or they call them slicking out their firearms. And these guns are totally custom. Like I have a 1873 lever gun, which I'm sure some of you have seen my video on it. They're 1873s. I mean, I could cycle it with my pinky. You know, that's just how slicked out they are. And a lot of them are shooting 38s. Some guys are shooting 45s, but mostly it's 38s. The guy who let me shoot his 1873 at the end, he was shooting 38s, but he hand cast his own round, and he was shooting a 110 grain bullet with only like a couple grains of powder. So they call those like a mouse load or a mouse fart load or some crap like that. So there's not, you know, these rounds are probably doing 5, 6, maybe 700 feet per second, but probably around 600 feet per second. And you can see the rounds sometimes flying through the air when you're watching. So they're not going really fast. They're using powders like Bullseye or Trail Boss, you know, where they're using a really light charge and a fast burning powder. But your targets are not that far away. I mean, realistically, for rifle, 20 yards, 25 yards tops. I mean, I didn't see anything past 25 yards. And then pistol, it's like between 7 and 10 yards. You know, when I shot, it was actually pretty easy to connect. So when people were missing, I was just like, wow, it's just different. But they all say it changes when you're being timed. So until I start competing, it'll be a different story, I guess. So, but eventually there'll be some videos of me doing the competition shooting stuff. But that'll probably happen in May. I'll get some footage. So if you want to know more about it, just feel free to ask. I can try to point you in the right direction. There's a couple YouTube channels I would point you into if you wanted to know more. But moving on, what's your guys' take on the Glock 43? I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And the Glock 43, in my opinion, I mean, I'm sure it'll sell because it's a Glock, but I don't think it's a Glock single stack 9 that we wanted. I don't know. I think they're just a little bit late in the game. I really wanted one back when the Shield had the single stack 9 with their manual safety. That's when they should have came out. It would have gave us a better choice. But as soon as the Shield came out with their single stack with no manual safety, that to me that was it. And I was like, well, there's the gun that everyone's going to buy. I mean, that's what happened. I even went and got the XTS. I really enjoy that gun too. But the Glock 43, it's 6+1, whereas like all the others are usually a 7-round magazine to start off with. But in my opinion, I think they're going to come out with a 7-round magazine. Watch, they're going to make everyone go out, buy all these Glocks with a 6-round, and then 6 to 8 months from now, they'll release a 7-round magazine, and everybody will buy those. So I think there's a money making scheme to be had. I definitely think that's what Glock is going to do. I could be wrong. If I'm right, just refer to this video and let me know if I was right or wrong. But I foresee a 7-round magazine come out, even an 8-round magazine. I bet you they'll come out with a 7 and an 8-round magazine eventually. But that's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I know it's realistically, it's only a little bit smaller than the XTS and the Shield. I mean, we're not talking much smaller. It's only a little bit smaller. I know small goes a long way for concealed carry. But I just, you know, if you can conceal carry that Glock really well, I think you can get the Shield or the XTS and be just as happy. But, you know, if people want it, I'm sure they'll buy it, and I'm sure Glock will sell a ton of them. I think the price is going to be around $500. That's what everyone keeps saying. And I think that's going to be expensive, whereas you can get the Shield. I've seen Shields in my area, brand new out of the box, with no thumb safety, go for $389. And that's with my own eyes. I saw that with my own eyes. The XDS Essentials is going for about $420 to $430. And then the Glock is going to go for about $500 is what I'm guessing. I know they're saying MSRP is $589, but I think it'll be right around $500, maybe a little bit above $500. So what do you guys think about that? I like to know your opinions on the Glocks. Also, the NRA just got done with their convention too. I know there's a big thing about whether or not you're going to be allowed to carry a firearm at the NRA. I know the New York Times and some other of the liberal media was talking about how the NRA is saying you can't bring guns into their convention and how they're hypocrites for saying that, but that wasn't true at all. It was if you were a vendor bringing guns in there, then they have to be non-firing floor display models. So you can still conceal carry or whatever as long as you are following the local laws in that area. So I'm glad the NRA went out and made those guys look really stupid, because most of the time liberals don't know anything about guns, and it's really sad to see anybody doing that, like trying to shame gun owners and make us look stupid when we're not stupid. So also, the Moms Demand Action group was out there, and they did a photo op, but there was an aerial photo of them where it showed them having like 50 or 60 people. I mean, it's funny how they do these shots where they'll do a photo op where they're all squished together and make it look like they have a ton of people just hanging out, and then, like, there's aerial photo of them with, like, 30 to 50 or 60 people, whatever. So it made them look ridiculous. But that's just I don't know why they even bother trying. I really don't know why the media gives them any kind of publicity or anything. The only reason why I'm talking about them is because they look stupid, and I have no problem calling them dumb, because they really did look stupid in their photo op when they got that aerial photo showing how stupid they are. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was, and this has been a big topic around the circuit with the gun owners and things like that, is off-body carry. My opinion on off-body carry is, if you are going to off-body carry, that's your last resort. I mean, that's when you have no other option to carry. That's the only time you should only off-body carry, is when there's no way you can carry a firearm. Like, if you're a female and you go to carry a firearm in a purse, and I would try to carry it on your body. I'm like, really? Is there no holster out there that would try to work that would work for you? I mean, there's a lot of holsters. There's a lot of things to try. I would exhaust all those holsters before I start carrying in a purse. And if you do carry in a purse, it needs to be in a holster itself. You can't just buy a concealed carry purse with a concealed carry compartment in your purse and just throw it in there and expect it to be good. No, you got to still put it in a holster. So for you ladies out there, be sure to do that. As far as guys, like, some guys want to put a holster in their car. I don't agree with that either. Like I said, it's off-body carry. I don't recommend leaving a firearm in your vehicle or in a holster in your vehicle, unless it's your last resort. For some reason or another, you have to do it, and that's the way you have to carry. So that's your only option. So I understand that. You keep hearing more and more in the news about constitutional carry. I'm all for constitutional carry. I don't think anyone needs a permit to carry a firearm. To me, if the criminals are going to carry, they're going to carry regardless. To me, us having to pay a fee to conceal carry when criminals don't care, to me, it's a slap in the face. It's like, why do we need permission to conceal carry? I don't understand that. When the criminal does whatever they want, it's just like the background checks. Criminals will do whatever they need to do to get a gun, or they'll just use something else. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like I said, the only thing gun laws do is all they do is affect the law-abiding citizen. So that's just how it's been lately. It's just a lot of constitutional carry talk. I know Kansas passed constitutional carry, so thumbs up to Kansas for doing that. There was also some more talk about manual safeties and empty carrying with an empty chamber and blah, blah, blah. I wanted to talk to you guys about that. My take on a manual safety is I don't like them. If someone came up to me, like somebody was self-conscious about carrying a loaded firearm, and they're like, well, I want an external safety. I want some kind of safety. I'd put them towards like what I have with the XDS, where you have the grip safety. It's kind of to me, it's a really nice compromise, especially like you 1911 guys will understand what I'm talking about, how you carry cocked and locked, but you have the safety on. And so that might not be the best example, but the XDS, I think, is a perfect example of being able to carry around the chamber, but having that extra security measure to help satisfy your needs of external safety, where you can just grip the gun and then it's ready to go. So that's what I like. And I found out that like a lot of women like to carry the XDS because of that grip safety. It gives them Security, gives them a peace of mind. So something to think about for you ladies out there, or guys trying to get their women to carry something that's a little bit more quick to engage, because the manual safety, I mean, it's just when you need a gun, the last thing I have to worry about is the safety. That's the last thing I want to have to go through my head, is whether or not my gun's going to be unsafe when I pull it out, and that's just not what I want. And then on top of that, people who carry with an empty chamber, my opinion is, if you carry with an empty chamber, I say, why bother carrying? And I know I want to catch some flack for saying that, but it's true. It's like, you look at the time it takes to get your gun out, rack it. You're giving the criminal extra time to get to you or do whatever he needs to do. You're giving him that extra split second of what he needs to do. So that's something to think about. If you're really that conscious about carrying with an empty chamber, get a double action firearm like the Ruger LC9. Get a double action only, where it's a long, heavy trigger pull, but you know it's not going to go off in your pocket because of that, because you're going to have a holster covering the trigger guard, and then with that long trigger pull, you're not worried about setting it off. So try the Ruger LC9 or the Sky CPX2. Now, when people shoot these guns, they're like, oh, that trigger's horrible. I'm like, but you have to understand it's a self-defense pistol. These are not competition pistols, and it drives me crazy every time I hear someone bashing these guns, because they're not using them for the intent that they were made. I mean, these guns are not meant to go out and do your serious shooting. It's a self-defense pistol, realistically 10 yards in. That's realistically what these guns are made for. 5, 6, 7 yards. That's what they're made for. It's made for a self-defense only pistol. It's not meant for going out plinking with. You can go out and train with them and shoot them, but it's not your everyday plinker. And with those long triggers, I had females shoot my Sky when I had that, and they would just go, oh, nope. They hated it right off the bat. As soon as they did one trigger pull, they shot one round off. They're like, nope, I don't want to shoot this anymore. I hate this. This is junk. And I'm just like, well, you want, something where it doesn't have safety and it has a heavy trigger pull, so it's actually kind of like the trigger pull is kind of a safety device. So something to think about when you're looking for a firearm. Even a snub-nosed 38, like the Smith & Wesson 442, where it doesn't have an external hammer, and not having the external hammer, it's just double action only. That's another good little. It's a 5-shot revolver, and that's another good gun to look into. But that's about it I got to talk about today, guys. Not a lot going on. I mean, we're rolling at about 20 minutes here. Nobody really asked any questions. This guy, American Died 1913, he's asking me about my take on the 3% rule. He doesn't think it'll work. I think most people who refer to the 3%ers are mostly talking symbolism. Like, you don't need everyone. You only need a small part of the population to change things. There's over 300 million people in the United States. 3% is going to be 3 million. That's a lot of people. So when you put in that mindset, that's a lot of dudes. 3 million people is a lot of people, and he thinks 25% would work. Well, it would, but like I said, I think the 3% thing is more of a symbolic thing. I don't foresee any of that stuff happening. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Hopefully I answered his questions. But with that, guys, I want to go ahead and close down the podcast. I'll try to do this every month. And if you guys are listening to this podcast, feel free to leave questions in the comments sections, and I'll write them down and put them up on the next month's podcast, and I'll get to your questions. And like I said, as long as I know the answer, or if I feel like I have something to contribute to that subject, I will do my best to get to those. If this becomes more popular, then we'll do more. If it's I'm sitting at 50 views when the next month rolls around, and this podcast is only getting 50, 60 views, I might not do it anymore. I'll try doing it for a few months, see what happens. Maybe have some guests on here. So things like that. So tell me what you guys think, and I'll start doing these, and we'll see how it works. Until then, I will see you guys next month.